Hello, good morning everyone. How are you? We hope you're all doing fine. We take this opportunity to introduce you to our new show by the name Legal Ease by Optiven, where we demystify all the legal terms and all the legal theories for our clients and our database. Today we are going to be discussing a very pertinent topic in the legal world, especially for people who are involved in investing in property, whether it is land or even houses. But before we do that, we would like to introduce ourselves and what we do and where we come from. We work at Optiven Limited, where our main core business is to economically and socially empower and transform the society out there. Your host for today shall be Ethel Kiboto. I am an advocate of the High Court, and as I said, I serve at Optiven Limited as one of their legal counsel. Today we shall have a very astute panel, which is comprising of two beautiful ladies and one gentleman. And I shall introduce them. From my far left, we have Ms. Nafula Masinde. Nafula Masinde is a legal counsel. Nafula Masinde, you can wave to the audience. Next to her is Mr. Ian Washira. Mr. Ian Washira is also a legal counsel at Optiven Limited. And then finally, on my immediate left, we have Ms. Kiloko Mubi, who is also a legal counsel at Optiven. So as I said earlier on, our discussion for today shall be on the change of user. I do not know if you as a purchaser out there have come across this particular word, change of user, as you are buying your parcel of land or if you are buying your apartment somewhere. But we are here today to demystify what change of user means, where it is applicable, how to go about it just in case you come across it, and many more. What is a change of user? Maybe one of us can explain to us what is a change of user.
Thank you, Ethel. First of all, I'd like to thank you for this wonderful series. I feel like it's the appropriate time to be having such discussions to enlighten our clients, to enlighten our customers and the general public on how land is used in Kenya. We have quite a number of uses of land in Kenya. We have agricultural use. You can use land to erect your commercial buildings. You can have land to put up quarries. You can even have industrial land. So these uses vary with the expectations that you have for the land. Now, when you want to use land for a particular purpose, you need to make sure that this land is designated for that specific purpose. Basically, if you have land for agricultural use and you want to put up commercial buildings on it, you need to approach the physical planning office through the relevant procedure and make sure that this property is used and is demarcated and marked at the county offices as commercial property. Now, change of user entails now the process in which you have to follow to make sure that this agricultural property is converted from agricultural use to a commercial use to enable you to apply this property for the relevant application. Thank you.
So if I may ask, Ms. Nafula Masinde, if I want to buy a property in this country and I want to put up a residential property and the parcel of land is actually marked commercial, so how do I go about it?
Well, so the process of change of user has basically been outlined in the land physical and in the Physical Land Use Planning Act. And so the very first step that you take while converting land is first you need to do a search, talk to your neighbors, talk to the people that own land adjacent to yours, find out their views. And then once you do that, the next thing you need to do is to enlist the services of a physical planner. So essentially what the physical planner is going to be doing is to first highlight what was the initial use of that particular property. Then he's also going to list down the use you want to convert that land to. For instance, the question was residential to commercial. So the physical planner needs to highlight that the land was initially used for residential and that you're converting it to commercial. So if you're converting it to commercial, you need to state what are you going to do with the property. Perhaps set up a hotel, set up a hostel, whatever it is you want to do with that particular property. So, and then this physical planner is going to prepare a plan. The Act provides for us specific forms, and in this case, he's going to fill in PPA1. So once he's done filling in PPA1, he's going to submit it to the county government. So after this particular step, the next thing you need to do is to issue notices. So the notice basically is telling the other users or the people who own land adjacent to yours that you intend to convert the use of this particular land. So once that is done, afterwards, the physical planner is going to prepare a report. So I'm sure we all know what a report is, and the report is going to contain the contents of the entire procedure, from the beginning to the end, what the land was used for, what you want to do with it, if there are going to be any side effects. And then he is going to submit this particular report to the relevant county government offices. So then we are going to have the county government deliberate and review this particular report. And in the long run, they are going to decide whether they are going to approve your change of user, because again, you see, the government has to weigh what effects that change of user is going to have on the other users. For instance, you might want to change residential to commercial. That, number one, is going to cause perhaps the area to suddenly become densely populated. It might affect the privacy of the other home users in that particular area. It might strain the existing drainage system. So when the county government comes to a conclusion that the change of user is going to have more negative effects than the positive effects, or rather that it's generally going to have a very uneconomical impact, they might decline your approval. So then I'm sure someone is asking what happens in the instance where you've been denied the change of user. And before perhaps one of my fellow panelists tells us about the review mechanism, it's important to note that when the change of user has been denied, you need to stop. In fact, you shouldn't even have started using that particular property for any other use other than the one that has been stipulated.
Thank you very much, Ms. Nafula Masinde. I want to come to Josephine because I want her to explain to us what documents are required to be lodged when you are applying for the change of user. But before we come to Ms. Josephine, I would like to seek clarification from Nafula and Mr. Washira. For example, if I want to put up a club, some 1824 of some sort, in some residential area, I mean, what are the restrictions, what are the parameters the county government looks at? Because I would want to put up that establishment. There is nothing wrong with that establishment. But just next door, we have a primary school. And then on the other side or rather the back side of that establishment, we have houses, we have a supermarket. I mean, how do I go about that, and what restrictions are likely to arise from that when I want to do such kind of a change?
I think I'll take that up. When you're owning land, for instance, next to a school, within that county, we have specific planning procedures, we have specific planning policies and plans. We have the national government planning policies and the county government planning policies. If you wish to develop that property for whatever reason, let's use a club. If you want to put up a club on that premises, you have to go to the county. You have to go back to the national government and ask them, what did you intend for this particular area? We have zones, we have spatial plans of areas. So you need to go back to the relevant county and national government agencies and ask them what was the specification of this particular parcel. Then you establish, maybe it's a school that was supposed to be put up here. Maybe this area will only allow for commercial buildings, flats we allow for apartments, we allow for office buildings. Are you allowed to put up a club in that area? Now the county government is able to advise you on that. If your application is made and you're, for instance, putting up a club, then the county government will reject that application with the reasons of their plans and policies that they have in place. So you need to go back and examine the plans, the policies that the national government and the governments have before you embark on that process.
Thank you very much, Mr. Washira, for your clarification. Now to Ms. Bubi. What documents would they ask or require of the client when the client wants to make an application for change of user in any instance, if it is commercial or to residential?
Thank you very much, Ethan, for that question. I would say the first document is a document that shows proprietary interest in this property, which is the certificate of title or certificate of lease. The second thing that you would need is, proof of payment for this procedure of change of user. I would also say the third document would be latest rate payment receipt. You would also need a document from the physical planner, known as a planning brief. Yes, and you also need a comprehensive location plan.
So approximately how long will it take from the application for the application process to take place? That is from the time you lodge the documents at the county government to the time now you are going to get your response or your feedback, whether it has been approved or declined. Approximately or estimately, what length of time will that take?
They do vary, but you can give it at least 3 months. Yes, just to be safe, you give it 3 months.
So thank you very much, our viewers, and you can visit our property at any time. You can actually give us a call again on our numbers on our screen, 0790 300 300, or even write to us, or even visit our website www.optiven.co.ke for further assistance. Thank you very much and be blessed. Have a beautiful week. Thank you.
Optiven, inspiring possibilities.